Everybody, and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life, your business, your health, fitness, mindset and body from where it is that you are right now to where it is that you want to be. And today I want to ask you a question. Are you listening to the right people? Because it can cross any area of your life, but if you are listening to the wrong people and taking advice from the wrong people, then you are going to get poor outcomes. I have an example today of somebody that has just started some coaching with me and is listening to, inverted commas, a friend, or maybe it's friends, telling them certain things about what they're doing, whether it's their exercise, food, etc., and it's having a negative impact on the person. And I've said to this person today, because it came up, and I said, who is this person? Do they really know what they're talking about? Because what she said to me just didn't make sense. So she said, I get really scared of doing this particular exercise because my friend said I could hurt myself. And I said, okay, just stop for a second. So I got her to, put down the weight and everything. I said, that is just like saying that dumbbell over there could kill you. And the answer to that is, of course it could kill you. If you hold a heavy dumbbell above your head and you let go of the weight and it hits you on the head, it could kill you. If you're using a resistance band and it slips from under your feet and hits you in the right part of your nose or something and pushes your nose back into your brain, then that could kill you. You could use a kettlebell and do something and it could kill you. You could use any piece of equipment in the gym and there's a chance that, it could kill you. How? Well, it could give you a heart attack. It could do something like that to cause you to have, a coronary failure or something, so that's going to kill you. So I said, it doesn't make sense. It's like saying, don't get into a car because it could kill you. Well, what you do is you learn the skills to drive the car, just like I'm teaching you how to use this piece of equipment right now. It's at a weight that will not cause this issue. And I said, this is the biggest problem that you have with this exercise. But I said, as in people in doing this exercise. And I said, but you're not doing that. And I'm making sure that you're not doing that. I said, I'm not loading up here more than you can lift. I'm loading up stuff that's challenging you, but it's not more than you can lift. Because you did it on the previous set, no problem. But it's that mindset of the friends got into their ear and said, you shouldn't do that. Now, who are other great people that have all the answers to everything under the sun? Parents, siblings, relatives of some sort, where they say, oh, you shouldn't eat that food because I've heard that it does whatever. So, well, okay, don't eat that because it's going to kill you or it's going to do this. Well, any food could kill you again because you could choke on it and die. But if we're sensible about what it is that we're doing, then it makes more sense to do it. Now, when I asked this particular person, does that person use that piece of equipment and use it on a regular basis? I said, no. I said, well, how would they know? Because they've watched a YouTube video? That's like going to YouTube and searching gym fails and saying you should never work out again because look at what happened to these people. Now, if you break down each one of those, you can see why what happened. And there are so many stupid things on those gym fails, but you don't learn how to become an expert by looking at a YouTube video on fails. You go to a coach that has replicated this over and over and over many, many years so that you can see success stories and you can see that people have sustained the results and been able to achieve something really great, what you want. So then you would follow their advice. This is the big problem that we have. So many people are taking other people's advice. And I see this with friends where a friend might start say, an exercise program, but then their other friend or their friend is doing something else. And they say, oh, let's go do it. We should do this. And they'll do that for a bit. And then they'll do something else for a bit. And then they'll do something else. It's fraught with danger. The people that flip-flop from one thing to another stay the same. They don't change. They stay the same. You need to find something that you're really going to enjoy and have belief in it and work your butt off using that particular approach. I mean, I know somebody that has spent a long period of time, well, their whole life being overweight. Maybe 15 kilos, 20 kilos, maybe 25 kilos overweight. But they've spent more time trying to find somebody that can tell them what they want to hear so that they can just say, yeah, there, see, this person said that, as opposed to following some sustainable, healthy, logical advice and implementing some sustainable, healthy change into their life, that they will forever remain the same or worse than they are right now. Because they just wanted to find somebody that would be a yes person and say, yeah, you're right, that's all you need to do. Or just do this. Don't worry about doing that, just do this. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, the field that I work in, it's a science, okay? We have science to back up everything that we do. The problem is that it's not a quick fix. It's not bang overnight. It's done and you're fixed and go on your merry way living the life that you want. It requires work. But think about anything that you do in life. Think right now of something that you are really great at right now and how hard you've worked at it and what that took and the person that you became in that journey to becoming great at it. That is what made you. Not being great at it, it's what your journey was to get to being great that made you great. And yet some people are always looking for that quick fix. But the quick fix doesn't exist. There might be some things you can do quickly to get an outcome, but they're not going to be the sustainable result that you want. You have to put in the work. You have to do that. So don't just go find somebody that's going to agree with what it is that you want to hear, because there's plenty of people out there, trust me, who you can pay lots of money to just agree with what it is that you want. But I don't work like that. In fact, I've had a client that, well, he wasn't a client, he wanted to become a client, that came to me many years ago and said, this is what I want to achieve, but I want to do it this way, which was basically not eating. And I said, okay. I said, this is why I program people this way. And I said, with the approach that you're taking, here are a whole list of reasons as to why that is not sustainable and healthy for you. But he wanted to argue with me. He wanted to be right. So I said to him, this was after about 45 minutes, I said, look, John was his name. I said, look, John, here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to come in for your couple of sessions a week. You're going to do the work in the gym. But I said, as soon as you leave here, you're going to go off and do all these other things, or not do these other things. And you're going to get a particular result, which is not much. You might feel better because, the mindset-wise, what you're doing for yourself, you'll get a little bit stronger to start with, but then you're going to plateau fairly quickly. And I said, each time you come in here, you're going to be asking me, why have I not achieved what I want to achieve? And I'm going to say to you, it's because you're not taking in enough protein, you're not consuming enough plant-based food, you're not consuming enough in general, you're depleting your body of the resources that it needs to achieve the growth that you want, or telling me that you want. So I said, there's no point in that. I said, I will not work with you if you will not follow my approach to what I want to achieve. I said, you don't have to follow it exactly, but I said, what you want to do is like completely the opposite of what I would recommend for you. So I said, I don't want to work with you under that capacity. So I said, there are plenty of trainers out there. I think you should go and find somebody that wants to train you following the nutrition program that you believe is right for you. Because I said, I just fundamentally disagree with what you're doing. I said, it's not healthy. I said, I won't work with you that way. I'm happy if you want to change it, but not if you want to do that. And I basically kicked him out and said, look, I was very professional, but I said, I just can't work with you like that. It's just going to frustrate us. So I said, look, I shake your hands. I wish you good luck. And this was pre-COVID for the handshake. And yeah, just good luck. Because some people, you just can't tell them anything. Their perception is their reality and they will never change. What he wanted to do was convince me that all of the years that I've been working with people this way was the wrong approach and that I should be doing it his way. Well, there's no science to back up what he was talking about, but there's plenty of science to back up what I'm talking about. So, yeah, you have to be careful about who you listen to. Now, could you not think that this is the same case when it comes to, say, business coaching and the particular area of expertise that you have in your life? You might be really passionate about an idea and you just keep going and going and going down that path until you find somebody that just agrees with you and you say, yeah, see, I'm on the right path. But in the meantime, you're not making money. In fact, you might be losing money, but because you're attached to the idea and you think it's an awesome plan, you keep going down that path. That's the same as following poor nutrition advice or, one day doing F45 type training. I don't know whether that exists overseas, but yes, it would. But it comes from America, a franchise. So if somebody's doing F45 for a couple of weeks, then they go to CrossFit, and then they do that for a couple of weeks or a month or a couple of months, and then they go do something else, and then they go and do water aerobics, and then they're just flip-flopping from one thing to the other, looking for that quick solution. Often I'll have clients that come in and they say, I just need lots of variety with my training. It's like, really? How's that working out for you? Because from what you've told me, you've been overweight your whole... This is what I think. I don't actually say this to people. You've told me that you've been overweight all your life, and all of a sudden you're telling me that you need lots of variety in your exercise, otherwise you get bored, and you need lots of variety in your food, otherwise you get bored. You need to be eating something different all the time. I say, well, clearly that's not working for you because you're jumping from one thing to the next and you're not actually sticking to anything to get a result. So imagine your highest performing sports team. Every time they went out onto the track to do a training field, the coach said, let's do something completely different. You wouldn't get get to practice the drills, the plays, the certain plays that you want to do, and then it gets to game day and you say, okay, everything we've been training, let's do something else now. We're going to try this. Or each session that you came to, you had, whether it was a sports team, you had a different coach. I was like, well, hang on a second. You haven't had a chance to build that rapport with the previous coach. This coach is different, completely different. You're not going to get the consistency, are you? So you need to make sure that if you want to achieve some significant change, there are a whole bunch of things that you must do the same. It's just as simple as that. You have to do them the same. And if you want to become the elite, the top 1% in this, it's going to come with some sacrifice. And at different times that might mean different things. Sometimes it might be family, sometimes it might be your partner, sometimes it might be you sacrificing time that you wanted to go off and watch the next season of Ted Lasso or whatever. You've got to sacrifice things in order to have what it is that you want. Any athlete will tell you that. But it's worth it. It really is worth it. So be careful who you listen to. Make sure you're not just listening to everybody and taking everybody's advice. for me personally, that doesn't work. And I've gone through stages in my life where I've said, okay, well, let's listen to Tony Robbins. Let's listen to Gary Vee. Let's listen to JT. Let's listen to, it's kind of stopped at JT, but maybe listening to all kinds of different motivational things that you can. And you get torn in different directions. Say, well, is this way right, or is this way right? Or do I do that with a little bit of this? And sometimes you come up with your own concoction, but I find that for me, if I'm listening to a whole bunch of different people all at once, it screws with my head and I end up being immobilized. I'd rather find the people that resonate with me, so like JT, for instance, and I listen to him and I do what he says because it works and it's worked for me, so I keep doing that. Is there a need for me to listen to other people? Well, I listen to other people when I'm going to interview them and do that type of stuff, but I don't really listen too broadly. I might listen to some other specialists here and there, but I have the one theme of listening to the one person, being JT, most of the time. Because I can find that I just operate better that way. And there was a stage, so JT was doing a whole bunch of, every day, he was doing his Instagram stuff during the peak of lockdown and everything. And to be honest, I found that I had to stop listening every single day, because one day he was talking about, say, real estate, and one day he was talking about something else. And I found that what I needed to do was just tune in to those particular episodes. I'm not I invest in real estate in terms of my own private residence, but my other investments sit elsewhere in the stock market and so forth, in various, whether they be property that way or whatever, not further direct property investment. Because it's about my risk profile and risk tolerance and so forth. So you've got to get that right for you as well. But I found that, okay, well, to me, I love listening to Paulie and listening to JT as well. But day after day with a different topic, I was finding that, man, I was listening to that and I was getting distracted from what I wanted to do. So I had to just rein those in and only listen to the ones every now and then that I thought, okay, these are going to be good for me. So it's, life can be tricky, and you've got to work out what works for you best. And like the way you set up each day for success. What's the best way of doing that for you? I've experimented with that over many years, from spreadsheets to, I used to use MS Project. That's how long ago, I started doing that. Then I've used Asana. I've used, other different tools. I've tried just using the to-do list in Google. I've tried using Post-it notes. I've tried using just lists. Now I use an app on my phone to track everything. Well, sorry, not to track everything, to write it all down, and then I schedule it into my Google Calendar, and it's there all day. Have it on all my devices. I can say, it doesn't matter where I am, I can say, okay, this is what I should be working on now. And that works well for me. But every week I say, okay, well, I wasn't as efficient this week to last week. What happened? How do I fix that? So I've listened to, JT in terms of time management. I've listened to Tony Robbins in terms of time management. I've listened to a bunch of other people as well, and read books all about time management, working out, okay, how does this work for me? Now, they've obviously written it based on what works for them. And then what I do is I've taken the components that work for me out of each of them and said, okay, bang, this is what I'm going to do. So the message here is, don't just aimlessly listen to anyone, but find the people that you resonate with, stick with them, do the work consistently, get results, tweak, change before you start to maybe broaden your horizon more and maybe taking in a little bit more information. Because like, you've always got to learn, right? So we've always got to grow. So how do you grow? Well, listening to other people, reading other people's material, all that kind of stuff. But I do a lot of that, but I don't necessarily take it all out. I say, well, yeah, that doesn't fit right with me for whatever reason. So yeah, move on, next thing. But what I do have is a fundamental core of people that I follow, people that I listen to with a proven track record, and me doing it, knowing that yes, this works, so just keep doing it. But that's my core, making sure that I've got that right in my life. So if you want more information on this, knowing how you can become unstuck, for instance, how you can keep moving in the right direction, and yeah, I'm the right person to be listening to for you, then let's connect on a consultation. Go to thementaltoughnessandbodyshow.com. You can opt in there. Let's get a conversation started. Stay safe wherever you are. I'll see you tomorrow.